to have fun. That's the goal for my summer knitting. I want to try new to me techniques and designers and yarns and fiber content, but there's also so many knitties on actually knits, right? So I've compiled a list that includes tees, sweaters, socks, bags and lots of other fun things that I can't wait to cast on, and hopefully it will inspire your knitting plans as well. Hi there, my name is Luisa, but everyone calls me Lu, and welcome to my summer knitting plans video. So I have high expectations for the upcoming season, alright? I want to have fun with my knitting, lots of it. I want to play with colors, I want to learn new to me techniques, I want to try different designers and yarns and fiber content. I also want to have smaller projects that are easy to carry with me for when I'm knitting outside. So I've put together a list that hopefully will fulfill all my knitting goals, and I can't wait to share all of that with you. So the projects I will be talking about will be linked down below, as well as a link to a Ravelry bundle in case you want to check all of them out. So I've got my trusty old iPad here with me full of notes, so let's talk patterns. Alright, let me put my water down and open my notes. So, starting with tees. The first tee I really want to cast on is the Lyra Tee by Irene Lin. This is a new to me designer that I've heard really great things about, and this pattern came out in June of 2024. It is a top-down crop style with twisted stitches, lots of twisted stitches actually, and just a little bit of cables, needed at a fingering weight gauge. And it looks really cute. So my plan for this tee is to actually shorten the sleeves, probably just a couple of centimeters, or maybe not even, no, just a couple of centimeters, a couple of inches, maybe not even 2 inches, just one, I don't know. And I will probably add a little bit of fabric to the body because I'm not really into the cropped style. I don't think it's for me. But I love this white sample, but I've been picturing this tee in a darker shade, maybe a dark brown or a dark orange, like a rusty color, rusty shade of orange. I think that would be really cute. So that's my idea for the Lyra Tee. I can't wait to cast this on. And the next tee I'd really like to cast on this season is the Emmanuel tee by Johanna Gehrisch. This is also a new to me designer, and this pattern came out in June of 2023. It is a top-down raglan with a V-neck, which I love, and some I-cord edging, and it has this really cute lace pattern at the back, which gives it a surprise effect that I really like, because when you first look at this tee, it looks like just a simple everyday tee, but when you turn around, it has this really cute lace pattern that really makes the whole difference. This pattern is knitted at a DK weight gauge, and the suggested yarn is Hobie Friends Cotton Silk DK, which is a 78% cotton, 22% silk, which would have been lovely to try had I liked the colors. So none of the colors spoke to me, which is a bit frustrating. I think I've been picturing this tee in a light shade of beige, almost white, but not quite. Just like the sample photos. I've seen some people using drops bell, so maybe that's an idea, and I've already seen a beige shade of drops bell that I really like, so maybe that's a good idea. I've also seen some people knitting it with longer sleeves, or even 3/4 sleeves, or a full length sleeve. So maybe that's also an idea. It looked really cute, and that way I could also wear it when it's fall. So yeah, I think I will be knitting it with longer sleeves. And the third tee pattern that I really like to cast on is the Lusk tee, or just Lusk, by Clow. This pattern came out in May of 2025. It's also a new to me designer that I've been dying to cast on one of her patterns. She is known for offering lots of options within her patterns, and this tee is no exception to that. This pattern is knitted top down with drop shoulders. It offers bust shaping options, sleeve length options. You can either knit a long or shorter sleeve with short row shaping at the top. It also offers options to knit stripes, a textured stitch, which is really cute actually, or just a good old plain stock net. This pattern also comes in DK weight and fingering weight gauge, so what else do we need, right? Customization options are endless with this pattern, and I think I will be knitting, well, I know I will be knitting short sleeves, but I can't decide if I want to knit a textured stitch or a stripe, some kind of stripe pattern. If I go for the stripes, I still haven't decided which stripe pattern I want to go for. I've been leaning towards the textured stitch in a fingering weight gauge. I think it would look really cute. It would give it a feminine and delicate touch to this piece. And I have my eyes on Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, which is 100% silk, like the name suggests, and is also fingering weight gauge, fingering weight yarn. So that would be a really good idea, I think. I've been itching to try all of their bases ever since I've got my hands on the Knitting for Olive merino that I used to knit my Leon sweater by PetiteKnit that I just finished, and it's currently drying on my blocking mats right over there. So ever since I got my hands on Knitting for Olive merino, I loved it so much. I fell in love with that yarn, and I want to try all of their bases. So Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, I think, will be my next one. And I also have my eyes on the Plum Rose colorway, which looks amazing. And picture this: Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, Plum Rose, fingering weight with a textured stitch and drop shoulders. It's a chef's kiss, right? What else could I knit for summer? So I would definitely be casting this tee on. And I had just finished putting together my summer knitting plans when I came across this next tee pattern that I just couldn't live it out. So the next tee is the Lucy tee by Sari Nordlund. This pattern came out just a few days ago in June of 2025. I have knitted one of her patterns before. It's actually the Belle and Sebastian pullover that I modified to have satin sleeves. I love that sweater. So this tee has a top-down construction with a texture of knits and purl stitches, which is really easy to knit up. It's knitted at a DK weight gauge. The intended yarn for this project is one strand of fingering weight and one strand of mohair. But if I were to knit this, I would probably skip the mohair just to make it more breathable for summer. So I think maybe I would go for a DK weight yarn held like single stranded. And I really like this brown sample, the pattern the designer needed. So maybe a chocolatey brown or maybe a coffee shade of brown. I mean, coffee, it's almost black, right? So let's go with a chocolatey brown, a dark shade of brown. I think it would look really nice. But I won't knit all four of these patterns. It's just too many tees that I don't need to knit in the upcoming season. So I think maybe I would choose 2 of the 4 patterns, but I don't know which ones I want to cast on yet. So enough with tee, let's talk sweaters because I love knitting sweaters. So the first one I've selected is the Pierre sweater by Johanna Gehrisch also. This pattern came out in March of 2025, so just a couple of months ago. And it is a top-down construction with drop shoulders and this gorgeous lace pattern all over. It has also a little bit of twisted stitches and a folded collar that I love. I love a good old folded collar. So I also love this white sample the designer knitted, but I worry it will get dirty really easily. So maybe I would avoid white lace. I thought about using a yarn that I purchased just a couple of weeks ago that I had other plans for, but the plans fell through. So maybe I would use, it's actually this yarn. So this is a dark shade of pink. This is Uni Mylan White by Lana Grossa in the colorway 1380. I thought about using this yarn to knit up this project. But I've seen some project photos from people who've already knitted this sweater, and I think the dark colors really hide a lot of the stitch pattern, this beautiful lace texture. So I think I would go for a lighter color, maybe a sage green. I don't know, or maybe I would just follow the designer suggestions and go for a knitting for olive combo of merino and 1 strand of mohair. Maybe that's an idea. I don't know. I still haven't made up my mind, but this sweater is gorgeous and I really want to cast this on during summer. So the second sweater pattern that I have in mind is the Birch Pullover by Andrea Mowry. This will actually be my second Birch Pullover. I will show you my first iteration of this sweater in a little bit, but this pattern holds a really special place in my heart because this was my first ever written pattern that I followed, and it was actually the first pattern that I purchased right after, just a couple of days after I found out that Ravelry even existed. So this pattern opened my eyes to a whole world of patterns and designers. So I'm really grateful actually for this pattern. And let me show you the first version of my Birch Pullover. So here it is. I was trying to recreate a sweater that I saw at a store in 2020, 2021 or something like that. So I already had this stripe pattern that I wanted to recreate and also the colors, but at the time I couldn't find the shades of pink that I really wanted, especially this lighter shade of pink here. So I couldn't find what I really had in mind, so I went for this instead, and it would have been just fine if that was the only problem. But this sweater actually came out way smaller than what I wanted, to the point that I've never worn it. So yeah, talk about frustration, right? So I've been wanting to knit a second version of this sweater ever since, and this time around I think I found the right shades of pink. So I already have the yarn, so let me show you what I have in mind. So first I bought 4 different Host Garn super soft colorways. So I have 3, and the first one is the Jasper colorway, which is a dark shade of red, and the orange one is the Amber colorway, and the 2 shades of pink that I had in mind, I purchased Comfrey, which is this one, and also Cranberry, but there wasn't enough contrast between these 2 pink shades, so I decided to swap the Cranberry colorway for this Filcolana Arvita in the colorway 807, which I think would give a nice contrast. But ever since I got my hands on this Mylan White Uni by Lana Grossa, I think it would be even better. So that's my idea for, let me try and show you all the colors. So that's my idea for my second iteration of the Birch Pullover, which it would be really, really nice. Let's see if I manage to knit the right size this time around. That would be awesome. Right? So yeah, I don't know if I said that, but I skipped all the ribbing when I worked on my first iteration, and I think I will do just the same with the second version. So that's an idea. I've been wanting to cast this on ever since I finished this first sample, so we'll see. But yeah, that's all the sweaters that I have in mind. Now, I'm not much of a sock knitter, well, at all. I've knitted 1 sock ever since I started knitting, and it came out way bigger than what I wanted, so I can't actually wear it. But I think that's about to change because I came across Summer Lee's sock sets. And just parenthesis real quick, it started raining, so I hope you can't really hear the rain, but anyway. I came across Summerlee's sock patterns and I think I will become a sock knitter. So the first one that I want to cast on, I want to have an entire drawer of hand knitted socks. That's how much I like her patterns. So the first one I've selected is the Colorwork Cuff Club by Summerlee. And let me just read the description because there's no way I could do a better job of explaining this pattern than what she wrote here. So let me open the pattern page. But now my internet doesn't want to load the page. So each month you will receive a Colorwork chart page, sometimes 2 new charts that you can plug it into your base pattern to create a new Colorwork sock. The charts are all designed to be knit after the cuff, with the rest of the sock worked in relaxing stockinette. So it's a perfect scenario to start my sock knitting journey, right? So this pattern came out in when did it come out? So this pattern came out in August of 2024 and it runs until July of 2025. So if I buy this pattern in a couple of weeks from now, so if I buy this pattern in July, I can get my hands on all motifs at the same time. And all motifs look really cute and fun. So yeah, I think I'll need a sock this summer. So the first one I want to try, I've been calling it the wave motif. I don't know if it has a name or not, but it looks really simple and cute. So I think that's the perfect way to start my sock journey. And I think it is knitted from cuff to toe. I can use mismatching colors, so it would look really cute. So it's going to be really fun. So that's the sock I have in mind for summer. And next up is a little gift knit for my niece. So I want to cast on the Always Forever Unicorn Sweater. Oh, that's a really big name. Always Forever Unicorn Sweater by Wool and Beyond. This is another new to me designer. This pattern came out in March of 2024. It is worked from the top down in intarsia with German short rows. I've never done intarsia, so it will be a really nice technique to try. And if I don't like the process, this is a really small sweater look, like a miniature sweater, so I think it's a perfect way to try a new technique. So the suggested yarn is Drops Air, which is an Aran weight yarn. And you add a 3D mane and embroidered eyes, so it will look really cute on her. This will be actually a Christmas gift for her, but I want to cast this on now and make sure I get it done and off my needles in time for Christmas. So I think maybe I'll do this over the summer. And now I've been itching to try boucle yarn, to knit with boucle yarn. And I've decided I'm going to do it this summer, finally. So the pattern I selected is the Teddy Clutch by PetiteKnit. So if I hate working with boucle, this is a small enough project that I don't think it will become a lingering whip. So this pattern came out in December of 2022. It is hard to tell, but it's actually a stockinette stitch that you worked from the bottom up and attach a frame and a lining to the inside. So I think it will be a really cute project bag. So I think I will cast this on also. And I also have my eyes on another one of PetiteKnit's bag patterns. And this one is the Honey Wash Bag, also by PetiteKnit. This pattern came out in August of 2021. It is knitted bottom up. You first work the bottom in double knitting. The sides are worked in honeycomb brioche stitch. You finish it by sewing in a zipper, which is a technique that I've never done, so it'll be really nice to try. I've been thinking about using one of the leftovers that I have from my full-length shawl that I finished in March of this year, I think. So it's this yarn here. This is BC Yarn Bio Shetland in the colorway 53. Which is this lovely rusty shade of orange. I love a good dark orange. I think I will pair this with a mohair, with one strand of mohair also, and it will just look really cute, right? And the last but certainly not least pattern on my list is the December bow, also by PetiteKnit. This pattern came out in December of 2021 and it's just a quick and easy knit. You work from tip to tip, back and forth in garter stitch with some I-cord edging. You can wear it in your hair or as a hanging ornament, which is what I plan on doing. I have this blank space here on my wall that I plan on filling with December bows. Yeah, I have this crazy idea. So the sample used approximately 29 grams of Eucalyptus pernilla, which is a fingering weight 100% wool, and just 11 grams of mohair. So it's really easy to use scraps. I mean, not scraps, but leftovers. And I plan on knitting 6 of these and hang on the wall, like I said. Yeah, that's my idea. So those are my summer knitting plans. Like I said, I have high expectations for the upcoming season and I can't wait to cast on each and every single pattern on this list. And if you want to tag along and find out if I can finally manage to knit a Birch pullover in the right size, don't forget to subscribe. I post regular podcast episodes here on the channel every 2 weeks. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a little thumbs up and comment down below what your plans are for the summer. I would love to know. And I think that's all I have for you today. See you on the next podcast episode. Bye.